Let's solve question 3 here. So we have two people, Anne and Ben, who get utility from the consumption of a good. Now we have the functions of their marginal utilities over here, and we also know that the marginal production costs are given by 2 times the quantity, where the quantity is the total consumption of Anne and Ben. Now in part A, we want to suppose that the good is private, and what is the social efficient level of consumption. Now, what's the intuition here? Although the good is public, we want to calculate the social efficient level. So we have to care about both people, meaning that we want to have the same marginal utility of each person. In other words, when we distribute the consumption of that good, we want to make it in such a way that both people are equally happy. So the marginal utility of Anne must be equal to the marginal utility of Ben from the last unit of the good provided. So what's that going to be? We have the functions over here. Now let's calculate that relationship. So we would have 50 minus q times a, that's the marginal utility of N. 50 minus q times a is equal to 70 minus q times b. So 70 minus q times b. Let's take the numbers on one side. So we will have, actually let's change places. Minus qb goes over there to make it positive, so we will have qb equals to 70 minus 50, which is 20, and then we take qa to the right side, so it becomes plus qa. Now we found the relationship between qb and qa. Why is that important? Because we know that the marginal utilities must also be equal to the marginal cost. And since the marginal cost is equal to 2 times the total quantity, that total quantity is the quantity of N plus the quantity of Ben multiplied by 2. So with this relationship in mind, we can find out something. For instance, let's see how much N is going to consume. We're going to do it over here. The marginal utility of N must be equal to the marginal cost. Now we know the function for the marginal utility of N, which is 50 minus q of N. And what is the marginal cost? Well, we just saw it's this relationship over here. 2 times qa plus qb. So let's write it like that. 2 times qa plus qb. Now, what else do we know is that the quantity of Ben can be written as 20 plus qa, and we will have everything in terms of qa so that we can find it. So let's do it. We will have over here 50 minus qa is equal to 2 times qa. Well, we keep qa as it is, qa, and now instead of qb we're going to substitute this relationship, which is 20 plus qa. So 20 plus qa. Now it's a matter of math to keep solving it. So let's do that. We will have on the left side 50 minus qa is equal to, and on the right side we're left with 2 times qa plus qa. That's just 2 qa and then plus 20. So plus 20. Now it's a matter of opening the brackets. So we will have 50 minus qa. 50 minus qa is equal to 2 times 2qa, which is 4qa. So that's going to be over here 4qa plus 2 times 20 is going to be 40. Now we take the quantities on one side, so that we have 4qa plus qa is going to be 5 times qa is equal to 50 minus 40. So that's going to be 10. So 10 equals to 5 times qa, meaning that the quantity that N consumes is equal to 2 units. And with this in mind, we can calculate the quantity that Ben consumes, because the quantity of Ben is a function of the quantity of N. So we'll substitute that value over here in the quantity of Ben, and as a result, what do we get? Well, we will have that the quantity of Ben is equal to 20 plus 2, so that's equal to 22. Now, what is the highlight of this question? We can see that N would consume 2 units, Ben would consume 22 units, so that they achieve the same marginal utility of the last unit of good provided. That is the best distribution of this consumption. And why does Ben have more goods than N? Well, we can understand it intuitively by looking at the marginal utility function. We can see that the marginal utility function of Ben is 70 minus the quantity of Ben, meaning that the maximum willingness to pay for the first unit of Ben is 70 euros, whereas for N is only 50 euros, meaning that Ben is willing to pay more for that good because he derives more utility, more happiness from it. So socially, it's efficient to give to the guy who wants it more, who is more happy from it, more of that good. And that's what's happening here. Ben has 22 units and N has 2 units. Hope this makes sense. In the next video, we go to part B.